Welcome to History Shay's Disciple. Welcome to HSD. Welcome to Hooker Strangling Demon. Welcome to History Small Stick. And today we're going to be responding to America Uncovered. They did 3 videos on the subject of animal agriculture, particularly when it comes to the impact of health, the environment, and plant-based meats. The first video from America Uncovered I'll be talking about or responding to is fake meat the future of food? So we're going to tackle that right now.
Eating meatless meat is growing more and more popular. And by meatless meat, I mean processed food that's supposed to look and taste like meat, but that's made of plants. Supposed to being the key phrase. They should rename tofurkey to wet socks flavored gelatin slices.
I don't know what this guy has against plant-based meats. Even look at the thumbnail. Here's the thing. Tofurkey is lightly seasoned chicken. It's not as soggy and kind of gross tasting. So generally speaking, I would say 9 or 8 times out of 10, unless I'm going out to a really nice restaurant, I would actually prefer tofurkey chicken even if I wasn't vegan. Now, with that being said, when it comes to meat, I could create a new name for meat. How about the murder and death and rape of an animal? An innocent animal. Oh, wait, no. I gotta join the Borg. I'm committing wrong think. I'm not being politically correct enough. I need to go check my safe space. I need to go check my privilege. I need to cut off my penis and balls. Allow me to rephrase that for you. It's not murder and death. It's humanely, ethically killing an animal that just wants to live that did nothing wrong. And forcibly impregnating animals, which sometimes requires restraints, because it doesn't matter if the animal wants to or not be forcibly impregnated. It's going to happen anyways. That's sexual exploitation. It's not rape. That's offensive. I can't offend people. Offending someone is worse than committing murder or killing an animal. I think it's worse to shoot a dog in the face than it is to offend a human being. Or set one on fire. Who disagrees with me? Who disagrees with me? I can think of another name for animal-based meats. Shit and trash food. Now you might wonder, why am I saying shit and trash food? You might be thinking, Shitty is such a piece of shit negative person. Well, yeah, sure I am, but just hear me out. You see, shit and trash food, they often end up creating shit, fecal matter, within the factory farms, and these animals end up digesting it through one means or another. As well as the fact that it ends up going out to the public as well, which is a public health concern. And when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions, through 3 different studies, you're looking at a minimum of 16.5 to 28%, in another study up to 50%, and then in another study up to 87% of greenhouse gas emissions, depending on how you calculate it, that animal agriculture is responsible for. In another video responding to America Uncovered, when it comes to the environment, we'll go over the different metrics of how these studies got to their numbers. So it's making our environment shit and trash. When it comes to actual animal feces going out into rivers and lakes from factory farms, that in and of itself is shit and trash going in there, so it's making your environment shit and trash. The shit from animals often is not fully absorbed by soil for certain types of manures, potentially all, but particularly I'm referring to cow manure. So extreme amounts of cow manure ends up creating dead zones within lakes, rivers, and oceans. Once again, making our environment shit and trash. Don't forget, shit and trash food often ends up, like I said before, not only digesting actual shit through one means or another, because they live in shit, but they often end up sometimes eating trash. And the most amazing thing about shit and trash food is at the end of it all, there's a very good chance there'll be actual shit and trash. There'll actually be shit in your food. Maybe trash is a bit extreme, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's microplastics, but there's probably some actual shit in there quite often, depending on what nation you live in and depending where you get your food from. And some companies probably won't even actually spend the time to actually properly butcher these animals. Remember, we have billions of people on this planet to feed. So it's not uncommon to actually throw dead cows into an actual blender to create ground beef, thus putting shit and trash into your food. So at the end of it all, you don't even really know how much shit is in your food. You also don't know if animals end up eating one another, and if they've lived in shit, and if they've had shit inside their body and other infections, and if you're then eating that shit and trash food. Shit and trash food. I think it's a much more accurate label. Remember, shit and trash food makes everything shit and trash. Ethical shit in your food. It's healthy for the whole family. Brought to you by culture, marketing, and corporate lobbying. Shit and trash food for me and for you. You know, it does kind of make me wonder if the American Cover staff have ever tried any of these plant-based meats. Like, I wonder if they're talking shit about plant-based meats without even giving it a shot or a try. And if that is the case, I think that's kind of silly. It might not be the case.
So it tastes as good as a Whopper. That PR isn't nearly as good as they think it is. A charcoal brick covered in mayonnaise tastes as good as a Whopper.
Before I ever went vegan, I can't even count how many times someone has said that they tried the Impossible Burger or Beyond Burger in a video, and they said they couldn't tell the difference. If you don't believe me, just type in "people try Impossible Burger" or plant-based burger or whatever.
The texture is good, except all of a sudden you get these like hard bits.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's probably like a vegetable mixed with like a grain.
Final answer? Real.
Not
Good,
meat.
but not meat.
Just like real meat, I know how real meat tastes.
I'm getting more of a seared bite on the Impossible Whopper than I'm getting on the actual Whopper. No. No. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna trip. I wanted to come in a 100% hater. I'm gonna tell you off the top. I wanted to take a bite of this and be like, no, I don't, I'm gonna just flat out say it. Your Impossible Whopper BK is better than your actual Whopper BK. Your Impossible Whopper BK is better than your actual Whopper BK.
I wonder if Chris Chappell's bias is fooling anybody.
There are several differences between fake meat and real meat. Real meat is actual meat, while fake meat will act friendly to your face, then talk trash about you behind your back. Plant-based meat is usually highly processed and can have an ingredient list that's a mile long.
So Chris Chappell brought up the fact that a plant-based meat could have an ingredient list a mile long. Well, is it illegitimate criticism? On one hand, sure, the average Joe does not have the time to read everything within a long ingredient list, although somebody definitely can. And something could have a large ingredient list and it could actually be really good for you. And something else could also have a really small ingredient list and it could be highly processed with a lot of preservatives and it could be loaded with saturated fat. So the fact that it's a really long label list, in one sense, could be a bit of a scare tactic. Now, I know the average Joe doesn't want to sit down and read through a long ingredient list. I get that. And I have to ask the audience, what is healthy to you? Is it a comparison between two things? So would plant-based meats be healthy if it was healthier than animal-based meats? Or is it an ideal goal? If you have an ideal goal to be healthy, regardless of comparisons, I would say don't eat animal-based meats and don't eat plant-based meats. Neither of them are health food. However, and don't eat junk food either if you want to be ideally healthy. But if you're considering eating a plant-based meat, I would encourage you to hear my perspective. Animal-based meats have lots of chemicals in them. Animals breathe, eat, and there's chemicals and chemistry going on inside their body. So when we often eat chicken, cow, beef, or steak, the ingredient list is usually just the name of the animal. So in order to come to a conclusion if one is healthier than the other, you have to be willing to compare the chemical compound within animal-based meats and compare the chemical compound within plant-based meats. If you're scared off by the chemical compounds and the ingredient list within plant-based meats, but if you're not skeptical at all what's in animal-based meats, I think that would be intellectually dishonest. So if you really want to be honest with yourself and come to an honest conclusion of what's healthier, you have to be willing to compare. Okay, and before we actually talk about the comparison, I need to make a really quick point here. You could technically have an animal-based meat, and it could have shit on it, like when I was bringing up the whole shit and trash food thing, and it could actually have a smaller ingredient chemical compound list. Like there could be less chemicals in that than, let's say, a plant-based meat alternative that could be drastically healthier for you. And if you're just looking at the length of the ingredient list or chemical compound, you might actually forget about the fact that some of these animals live in shit, breathe shit, or if they're actually butchered improperly, there'll be actual shit in your food. And if that is the case, if there's actual shit in your food, I highly doubt that actually a plant-based alternative would be healthier. It could be, but I doubt it. I mean, after all, what's more healthy than eating actual shit in your food? It's way more healthy than eating a plant-based alternative. Chris Chappell brought up how plant-based meats tend to be highly processed. Okay, perhaps maybe not all the time when you buy them from the grocery market, but sure, for the sake of argument, let's just agree with that. Now let's look at some of the negatives from eating animal-based meats. There's animal heme iron, saturated fat, and cholesterol, all of which actually tend to have one of the following or both. They're either inflammatories and or they have negative health effects on your arteries and your heart. So today we're just going to be talking about cholesterol and saturated fat. We'll talk about this more in detail in another video, but in short, cholesterol has been known to actually help cause atherosclerosis. The causation is particularly the leptin proteins within LDL. And judging by the fact that vegans tend to have the healthiest rates of LDL, in this one study that was found, vegans had their LDL was actually 69.28, where omnivores was 123.43. And when you look at the fact, this chart here that actually shows the rate of developing atherosclerosis, which is a type of artery disease, you see that the actual healthiest range is between 50 to 60 for it to not develop. So it's going to be very, very difficult to actually get in that range if you were consuming animal-based products. And some other evidence to suggest how we know this. Well, randomized control trials, cohort trials, as well as our actual experiments on animals, and that atherosclerosis is very easy to induce in an animal by feeding them foods high in saturated fat and cholesterol. Now you might think, well, it might just be the saturated fat. When we actually give them supplements or drugs to reduce the amount of cholesterol, we see a reduction in atherosclerosis. It's very easy to induce atherosclerosis in a herbivore type animal. It's much more difficult to do it in a carnivore animal where they can eat vastly more cholesterol. When it comes down to it all, humans tend to have characteristics of herbivores. I'll actually end quote. Although most humans consider themselves carnivorous, or at least omnivores, basically, we humans have characteristics of herbivores, which I'll expand on in another video responding to America Uncovered. And another fun fact about atherosclerosis, it's actually known to be a causer for erectile dysfunction. And it might just be the fact that erectile dysfunction is normally found within people that have artery disease and heart disease. I don't know about you, but I ain't getting no limp dick just because I'm putting some fucking dead animal flesh in my mouth. Saturated fat. Saturated fat is considered to be highly causal for heart problems and heart diseases from what we understand from randomized control trials. And animal-based foods tend to have a lot of saturated fat. And just for the record, so does cooking oil. So maybe slow down on the cooking oil. So the real point I'm trying to get at here is a simple label such as beef, chicken, or I don't know, pork. It isn't accurately representing what is inside these products. So is what Chris Chappell is doing by bringing up the fact that there's a long label list, could that be considered a bit of a scare tactic? Sure. What I'm doing, could that be considered a scare tactic to prevent people from eating animal-based meats? Sure. Would I love for people to go vegan or plant-based? Sure. But there's actually a deeper meaning behind that. Regardless if it's animal-based or plant-based, it would be wise to read the chemical compounds within all these different products. A plant-based or an animal-based meat could technically both be bad for you. And I'd argue a plant-based meat has infinite potential to be better or worse than animal-based meats. But when it comes down to it, if you're not going to take the time out to read it, to read all the chemicals, to read all the ingredients, I have to ask the audience, how much do you really care about your health? How much do you really care about what you're putting in your body? So when it comes down to it, if not, you could also do the lazier way. The lazier way is just to go to authorities and educational content channels like mine, hear all different sides of the arguments, and then come to your own decision. Or you could avoid foods that have a high level of causation and correlation with chronic diseases. You could just eat whole food alternatives that don't have those correlations or potential causations. That would be the majority of whole food plant-based foods. So when it comes down to it all, I just want to try and help the audience to actually critically think when they go to the grocery market rather than just have some sort of truth narrative or fear overtake them. You can think for yourself.